Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and well, a good reason to do this puzzle by Terganus today. The reason is that tomorrow I'm going to be off to the World Sudoku Championships. I'm very much looking forward to it, as always. I guess this will be about the 10th I've attended, something like that. Anyway, I've been reading through the instruction booklet. Let me just give you some idea. I don't know how much you can see of that, but basically puzzle type after puzzle type. There are about 100 different puzzle types, I estimate, in this. I guess I'll be attempting probably about 100 different puzzles myself over, I think it's Monday and Tuesday, the competition. It's in Toronto, so we're on, well, whatever time zone Toronto's in. You will know better than I do if you live in North America. And yeah, the competition, I think, in fact, the schedule is here. When does it run from? On day one, the Monday, it runs from, can't open it, from 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock, that's quite an early start, to 5 p.m. And basically, there's a nearly 2-hour break for lunch in that. Other than that, there's only 5-minute breaks between the rounds. One 15-minute break. So the second day is very similar, 9 o'clock till 4:35. The afternoon of the second day is all team rounds, and then the evening of the second day is individual playoffs to decide the winners. I don't know how deep those will go, and I may not have read the rules about that yet, but I only got into the playoffs last year because they really extended them down quite a lot of people. I'm really hoping to... I mean, my goal last year was to finish top 50, and to finish 21st was extraordinary, so I'm not expecting that again. Top 50 would be fine. We will see how it goes. Just mixing with some of the great and good of the Sudoku world is pleasure in itself, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, one thing I was delighted about when I was going through the puzzle book, I didn't find any fortress puzzles. I didn't find any indexing puzzles. And I didn't find any liar puzzles either. There was one disjoint subset, but I can probably avoid that. Didn't find any liar puzzles, and I was delighted about that. I remember in India there was a whole round of liar puzzles, and I really struggle with those. But what the heck, I thought we'll do this Terganus puzzle, which is a liar puzzle today, or I consider it a liar puzzle. It's from the Cappleman-Lynes Killer Sudoku. And all the cages, basically their totals are given, but they're all off by 1. I mean, that's a fantastic rule set. It's cruel though, and I'm looking forward to giving it a try. And Terganus is a great friend of the channel. He's contributed several of the puzzles to the Line Sudoku app, which is out and which is great. And by the time that gets to 100 puzzles, plenty of them will be by Terganus, and amongst the best ones, I can assure you. But he sent us this killer instead, as I say, it's a liar killer, to do on the channel. So I'm really looking forward to giving that a go, and to say thank you to him for contributing those puzzles to the Line Sudoku app, which is just one of many apps we have. Check out the links under the video. You'll also find Patreon there. There are still 6 days left to enter the competition. The videos you will see me in the next few days are pre-recorded. I won't be doing them from in Toronto. So sorry about that, but there you go. And yeah, okay, that's all I'm going to say, except to wish, oh, and when I get back, I think I arrive back on the Thursday, and 2 days later, hopefully having beaten jet lag, it's the Times Crossword Championship, the first one for 4 years. So I'm really looking forward to giving that a go as well. I mean, it really is puzzle competition time of the year for me, and I do like to enter what I can. Don't know why. Anyway, we're going to have a go at this Terganus puzzle today. I'm sure it is going to give me some amount of trouble, which is the title. And here are the rules. 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every box. That's normal Sudoku rules, which do apply. Digits in a cage cannot repeat, that's still true, and must sum to either exactly 1 more than the given total or 1 less. So this cage will add up to 11 or 13, all different digits. So, classic stuff from Terganus. Looking forward to giving it a go. You give it a try if you like on the first link under the video before all the links about our merchandise, Sudoku Pad, Patreon and the apps, etc. But let's get cracking. So normally I would look at this 7 cage and the 8 cage and stick a 1 here. And then I'd realise it was broken, because when I had a 2-4 pair there, the 8 cage wouldn't work. Oh look, here's a 35 cage. Now that is actually useful. You can't add 1 to 35 because that gives you 36, and you can't make that up in 5 different Sudoku digits. So the real total of this cage is 34, and it consists of 9, 8, 7, 6, 4. Now it doesn't quite work with its symmetric counterpart, the 16, because that could be 15. I have a feeling in this puzzle, all the kind of potentially quite low cages like 7 and 8 and 12 and 12 will be adding 1 to. But you can't be sure of that, and Teganus has probably thrown something in to just monkey with that assumption. So the 7 cage does have a 1 in it, whether or not it adds up to 6 or 8. I don't know what that... I mean, I expect this 8 cage has a 1 in it, but don't know. 23. Right, this cage always has a 9 in it, because even if it's 22, it would have to have a 9. It would be 985 or 976. 16 and 15. Right, they add up to 31. That's clearly impossible for 4 different digits in the same column. Therefore, we're going to subtract. You can't add 1 to one of them and subtract 1 from the other, because you're still on 31. So we're going to have to subtract 2 from that total to get to 29, which has to be achieved by 9875, and then we can go further, because we now know this cage adds up to 15 and must be 87, and this cage adds up to 14 and must be, in reality, and must be 59, and that is not a 9 now, nor is that a 9. Now, what does that do? I think that we might be going quite heavy on the pencil marks today. Simon calls me Pencil Mark, and it is for a reason. Interestingly, one of the things I will not be doing in the World Sudoku Championship, or only extremely rarely, is putting candidates into cells. I will generally only be corner marking, or occasionally for these pairs I would pencil mark those, but this sort of stuff I would never use. I would use only Snyder notation, which is kind of corner marks and given pairs and stuff, which is appropriate because I think Thomas Snyder has written many of the puzzles and masterminded the whole puzzle creation operation in Canada. So thanks to him and his team for that. Now, come on, I'm just waffling while I try and work out something else to do, and I'm not really coming up with anything. This, it's probably 21, but it could be 23. No, right. Right, I think this taking cages together, this is going to be a theme. So these ones currently add up to 45, which they could just achieve by having a 9-6 here and 9-8-7-6 there. But look at these. These add up to 24. Yeah, that's right. We're on to something here. What is the minimum value of these 6 cells in reality? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 adds up to 21. Plus a 1 and a 2 there is 24. Now, that does allow one of these to be +1 and one of these to be -1. Just. But I bet they're both +1, and oh, bingo, I can prove it now. Right, where do 8 and 9 go in row 3? They cannot go into the 12 cages. And we've proved they're not there. Yes, that is the value of this pencil marking. Excellent. Where do 8 and 9 go in this row? They've got to be in the ends. Now, next question, obvious next question, where does 7 go? And the answer is, I don't know, but it goes in one of the 12 cages. And in that 12 cage, it's going to have to go with 3, 2, and 1. And then the next question is, where does 5 go in the row? And the answer is in the other cage, along with, well, no, I don't know, but I'm sure I had this worked out a moment ago. Yes, if 7 is in this group of 6 cells, then they add up to at least 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Plus at least 2 and 1 there is 25. And now the real total of these cages can't be 24 anymore and must be 26. So they do add up to 26. These cells add up to a minimum of that 22. In fact, that's what they must be. 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you said that 6 was in these cells, then 7, 6, and 5 would have to be in them all. They would have to add up to a minimum of 24 on their own, plus the 2 digits you put in here will take us to 27, which is kind of bust in the pontoon of heading for 26. So that is a 6. These are 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, adding up to 22. And to take the total up to 26, so each cage can be 13, that is actually a 1-3 pair. Now, the 22 cage. Right, I didn't know earlier if it had a 9 in. I do know, I think, that it must have either an 8 or a 9. Yes, it can't now. Oh, it could still be. No, it's not allowed to be a 22 cage, and it can't be a 23 cage because you can't put 9, 8, 6 in there without breaking this cell. So this is a 21 cage. Now, if that's a 9, this is made up of 8, 7, 6. If that's an 8, this is made up of 9, 7, 5. And either way round, 9, 8, and 7 are used up in these cells. And 6 can't be in these two either. Now, where is 7 in the row? It's going to be, well, it's in one of those cells. Oh, hang on, there's no 6 there, there's no 6 there. Let's just do some... Sorry, I'm not really getting to any good conclusions. I can't work out if 7 is in that T or this T. And I do want to work that out. And you've got this 16 cage, which is either 17 or 15... Oh, I don't know. Okay, I need to reset a bit. I liked the fact that 9, 8, and 7 have been used there. These are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they can't be 9, 8, and 7, which must be used here. 6 is there. But that could still be 7. Right, now, what's in the 6 cage, or the 8 cage? Which could... and almost certainly does add up to 9. In fact, can we prove that? Yes, we can. If this cage added up to 7, it would contain 1, 2, 4. Then you'd have to put 3 and 5 at least there, and this cage would add up to at least 9, and that's no good. So this cage does add up to 9 very predictably. Now it could be 2, 3, 4 with a 1 there. Otherwise, it's got a 1 in it, and the 7 cage's 1 is there. And in both cases, we've got a virtual 1 X-wing between those regions. That's going to use up the 1s for rows 1 and 2. And the 1 for row 3 is not in any of these cells. It's in one of these two. And that's in the 12 cage, where we now write a 3 in the crossbar of the T, in the downstroke of the T. And that's a 1 on the other side. And we've now got 3 plus 1 plus 2 digits that add up to 9 that aren't 1 8 or 3 6 and are 2 7 or 4 5. And this can still be the 7 3 2 1 cage. Bother. Now, what did we have any other? Did we have a 2 X-wing? See, this adds up to 8. So we can only use digits from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I need to prove that it can't be a 6 cage, do I? If that was 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you'd use 2 very low digits here and you need another 2 for that cage. So that can't work. I've proved it, just in case. So this adds up to 8 and this adds up to 9. If that's 2, 3, 4, that's 1, 5, and that's a 2. Otherwise, this has a 1 in it, and that's a 1. And then these would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that doesn't necessarily force the double X-wing that I wanted. Bother. Where are the 2 8 9s in row 1? One of them could be here. Not both of them. You can't put them both in here because of this cell. Once we've put an 8 9 in there and we've got one here, then neither of these can be 8 9. And indeed the second 8 9 in row 1 is going to have to be there. So there is an 8 9 in one of those and there isn't one here. Yeah, where are 7 and 6 in the row as well? That's a good question. They're not in this 9 cage because 6 is there and you can't put 7 in a 9 cage. So 7 and 6 are in these cells in row 1 and that is a 5 in a cage that adds up to 21. So these are 9 and 7 and that's an 8. Oh, that's good. 9 there, 8 there, and we had to put 6 in the top row as well. There it is. There was no way to put 6 or 7 in there, no, or here. Yeah, okay, that was solid. That was good. Right, we've got a 5 there. Oh, we can place 3 in the box. This is from 2 or 4 because we know 1's in one of these. Now, this is either adding up to 6, needing a 7, or adding up to 9, no, adding up to 8, needing a 5. So that is 7 or 5. These are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a quintuple. Either way, this works. Now we need a 3 in this cage somewhere for the row. Then either 5, 4 or 7, 2 again. Oh, but this 9 cage doesn't have a 6 in it. It must have a 3 in it. It's either 3, 2, 4 or 1, 3, 5. So that's not a 3. That's not a 3. There is a 3 in one of these two. There's no 3 in this 8 cage, and it is therefore 1, 2, 5. Good. Now, 3 and 4 in the top row must be in this 9 cage, so it's a 2, 3, 4 cage, and that cell is a 1. I'm quite pleased with that. Right. Now, here, come on, what here? Oh, yes, 1, 2, 5, 8, 9. These are from 3, 4, and 7, and they include a 3. Are we going to get row 3 out of this? I'm not sure we are. This is either adding up to 8 or 11 in a 13 cage, so that is either 5 or 2. So there must be a 5 in one of these cells. I don't know. Oh, there's a 2, 3, 4 there, so that's a 5. Right, okay, good. 7. 7 comes out of there, and 3, yes, okay. This is a 6, 7 pair. This is an 8, 9 pair. This is clever, by the way. I like this. That 5 on the right is looking across to here and making that a 2. There were lots of ways of me doing that, and I hadn't done it. And we can remove the corner marks. Okay, good work in the top 3 rows. A few pairs left, but a lot done. Now, there's no 1 in those cells. There's no 8 there. Oh, look, does there have to be a 3 in the 16 cage? Yes, I think there does. Because the 16 cage, it could be a 15 cage, in which case it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's likely to be a 17 cage. And I think the 2 versions of 17 use 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. There is a 3 in that cage, and we can place it thanks to these 3s at the top of the grid. Then there's going to be a 3 in one of those cells. I don't dare to speculate yet on where it is. And now, maybe, it is time to turn to the task of considering these 2 cages. I'm just going to colour them. I kind of wish I'd coloured the T cages earlier. They add up to 45. Well, they say they add up to 45. They could add up to any of 47, 45, or 43. 47 if we add 1 to both, very unlikely. 45 if we add 1 to one and subtract 1 from the other, quite unlikely. And 43 if we subtract 1 from both, much the more likely solution. Now, if they add up to 43, these can add up to a maximum of 30 as 9876. And these would have to add up to at least 13. And they can't have a 7 or 8 in. So they've got to have a 9 in. So that, I've already sort of corner marked a 9 in this cage in one of those 2. Now I know there's a 9 in one of those 2. So that's not a 9. So 13 is the maximum. So they are made up of 9, 4, 9, 5, or 9, 6. So the minimum that these can, if this was 9, 6, which is the maximum here, 15, these will have to add up to at least 28. And they must include a 9 and an 8. And the 9 is either there or here, because we've got that 5, 9 pair in the box. And the 8, well, it can't be there by Sudoku, but it could be at any of these positions. And then what are they? They're either 9, 8, 7, 4, and that would force this to be a... Oh, no, this is if they definitely add up to exactly 28. They could add up to more. And they could not have a 7 by being 9, 8, 6, 5 with a 9, 6 pair here. Oh, where does 1 go in the central box? In one of those cells. And then in one of these. That can't be a 3 because it's already in the box. Don't know. What next? Haven't really thought about this pair. These cages do seem to come in pairs. 11 and 18. I don't know. What does that mean? Or does 3... Oh, yeah, okay. Right, 11 and 18. So that adds up to 29 on the face of it. So that pair, we've learnt this technique. They add up to either 31, 29, or 27. So this group of cells add up to either 14, 16, or 18. And those are definites. They definitely add up to either 14, 16, or 18. Well, they do not add up to 16, because with the 1 in one of those cells, this would be required to be 187, and it can't be because of that. So they either add up to 14 or more likely 18. I'm not sure if that's more likely. No, maybe, I don't know. 14 or 18, and they've got a 1 in. If it was 18... Oh, if it was 18, there'd be 189, and that's not possible because we know there's a 9 there. Right, these add up to 14. They're either 185 or 176. Is that right? Yeah, but the 6 could go either side. Right, they add up to 14. So these in reality add up to 31. I'm making liberal use of the secret, which I haven't shared with you. I hope you know already, and if you don't, this will be a fascinating moment for you, that every row, column and box in a Sudoku adds up to the same number, and that number is 45. And I'm using that very hard. I've used it quite a lot already, I suspect, in this puzzle, but I'm definitely using it hard in this row. Now I know that those add up to 14. These add up to 31, although their cage totals are 29. So they're both +1. That is a 12 cage, and this is a 19 cage. And the 12 cage does not have the 9 in the row in, because it would have to be 921, and that is impossible. So this cage has the 9 in, and a pair that add up to 10 that aren't 91 or 37. So it's either 928 or 946. This cage has got to have a 3 in, because there's no other 3 in the row. Yeah. And it adds up to 12. It's either 345 or 327. And we now know that this is a 3, because we've got a 3 there and a 3 there. That is a 3. Oh, we've placed 3 in the top row without noticing. 2 in the middle box has to be in one of those cells. It's probably not very powerful. Oh, am I really left with these? So if it was 946, this would have to be 327, and this would go 581. If this was 928, this would go 345, and then this would be 176. Yes, those do work in parallel as two separate possibilities, which is a shame. Have I got a quad or a triple or a quint or a sextuple in this column? I tell you what I've got. I've got an idea where the 9 goes. No, I haven't. No, I was going to say because there's... Oh, look, 2. Okay, I don't know whether 9 goes in one of those positions or there. So, sorry, I thought I knew it went there for a second. I don't. 2, though, can't go in these cells. It can't possibly be in this yellow cell because this quad adds up to at least 28. That won't admit of a 2. So 2 is in one of those cells. And then it's in one of these 3. And again, it's not in yellow, so it's there. And that's 4, and that's 2. And that's 2. That's a lot of 2-age done. Now, I'm sure 2 is going to be in the 16 cage there, but I'm not actually sure, if you see what I mean. Now, are there any other digits that are obviously not somewhere here? I don't know quite if... Oh, look, I tell you what, 1 is not in yellow here. So 1 is in one of these 2 cells. 4 can be. 4 is the minimum digit that could go in yellow as far as I can tell at the moment. 1 is in one of those cells, and it can't be there because it's yellow and by Sudoku. So 1 is in one of these, and we get a 5 in the corner and a 1 next to it. That doesn't really advance any human understanding. Oh, this is tricky. Right. Now, you couldn't put both 2 and 3 in an 18 cage, even if it was only coming to 17. 1, 2, 3. So, I mean, I'm thinking I haven't done enough with this. You can't put both one. This cage needs a 1 and a 2. Whether it adds up to 15 or 17, still not ascertained. But it needs both a 1 and a 2. You can't put them both in that column because of that cell, so one of them is in this column. And that means this is not a 1 or a 2. That is also not a 2. Or a 4. Or a 6. Look at all the digits it can't be now. 6, 4, 3, 1, 2. So everything else in the column is from 5, 7, 8 or 9. Including that, which is 8 or 9. I don't think that helps resolve this cage, annoyingly. That can't be a 9 because there is a 9 in the cage. Now, these then, they include another 1 or 2, so that can't be a 2 either. Now, what else do they include? 3, 1, 2, and then could be a 4, 5 pair, unlikely, or a 4, 7 pair, or a 5, 6 pair. I don't know how to decide those. They don't include the numbers 8 and 9. And that can't be a 9, but it could be an 8. Oh, it's these yellows. What am I doing? Why can't I work out what they are? There's a 7 in one of those cells. Oh, and they are different, of course. This one is 22, and actually I've worked out they both have a 9 in. This one can't actually be 23, can it? I haven't really thought about that. If these were going to add up to 45 correctly, as well as prima facie, then we'd have to have 9, 8, 7, 6 here and 9, 6 here. That would be 1, 5 here and a 4 there. I just don't know. Okay, I need to refocus on something else. What am I missing now? 5, 2, 9, that can't be a 2. Hasn't been available as a 2 for some time. Okay, what goes in this cage maybe? It's a 10 cage, that's quite small. If it... I don't know, I was going to say if it in reality adds up to 9, it's going to be difficult to fill, but not impossible yet. But it could add up to, it's more likely to add up to 11. I haven't yet come across the example of a cage not adding up the higher or lower version that I'm expecting. And please don't tell me that that makes this not a liar puzzle if we don't come across one of those. It still is. Right, I'm getting a bit stuck here. Sorry, I just need to... oh look, 9... I do know where 9 goes in this box. That's rather neat. It can't be there by Sudoku. It can't be there because we've got 9 in one of those cells. And in fact, that stops it being there as well. I thought the neat thing was it has to be in one of those two, so it can't be there. Anyway, 9 is there. And therefore I can place 9 in this 34 in reality cage, and that places it in the 15 cage. And that's not a 9 now. That was interesting. Yes, also this is not a 9, so this is in the cage. And now this is not a 9, and this is in its cage. And they were mandated by the total of these yellows. Now there is an 8 in the yellows. It now must be in one of those two cells, and that rules 8 out of a couple of other cells. And now the other yellows, well, it depends on what that is, doesn't it? Does there have to be a 7 in the yellows? That's an interesting question. Let's try it without. 9, 8, 6, 5 there, and 9, 6 here. So these would add up to 15. That would be an 8. That doesn't work at all. What am I talking about? Oh yes, I'm trying to make this too big. Sorry, let's try it again. We're reducing these cages to 21 and 22. So 9, 8, 6, 5 here, 9, 6 here. And that doesn't work. because this is a 21 cage and would need another 6. Now what have I just proved doesn't work? Keeping a 7 out. So there is a 7 in this cage. So it definitely, oh no it doesn't definitely, because we, okay, hang on with that last conclusion. No, that's all right, because the possibility I mustn't forget is that these yellows do add up to 45, that one cage is larger and one cage smaller. Now I did forget that possibility. Or did I? 968 there, if that was larger. It didn't work because 965. No, it's okay. I'm sorry. It's very hard. It's very hard to work out. There is definitely a 7 in this 23 cage, which therefore, oh no, I was going to say therefore doesn't add up to 24. That's not true. It could do. That's not a 7. I can do that. Right. This is either 978 or 976. So this digit is from 6 or 7 and forms a pair with that one. Is that going to do anything? Doesn't seem likely to do anything. Now there is an 8 in one of these. That's from 146. That's all it can be. 4 is in one of those 2 cells in box 5. So it's not there. So that's now 1 or 6. Now that can't be 8 or 9. So that is from 1456, which is a quad now. And that is 8. It has to be another 8 or 9 in the column. Okay, excellent. Excellent. This is real progress. That is not an 8 now anymore. Now, these add up to 17. This is even, but I honestly don't know whether it's 4 or 6 anymore. I was absolutely sure it was going to add up to 21. I'm not sure anymore. This one, 82539, it can't be a 1. So let's write in 467 as candidates and then think. Can it be a 4? No, this cage would never get up to 22. So that is a 6-7 pair, and this is a 4. And that takes 4 out of the rest of the box and the column that 4 is in, the cage, I mean, and the column. And this becomes a 3, and that's a 4. Now that's not a 4. This isn't a 3. One of these is an 8. In fact, that's a 6, 7, 8 triple, so that's not a 7. And this is 2 or 5 down at the bottom. Oh, and look at this row. 1, 5, and 3 to place. 1, 5, 1, 3. I know where the 5 goes. The 5 goes in the 16 cage, which now doesn't add up. Oh, it could still add up to 15 or 17. Oh, that's so frustrating. It's either got digits from 124 or 126 here. So we've got a triple of either 124 or 126 with that cell. I don't know, I'm really getting lost now. Now, hang on, there's a 6-7 pair. This has become a 1. That's a 4. That's probably been available for a while. This is a 1. Oh, no, I still don't know whether 4, 5, 6 triple, and we don't know what that is. Oh, so weird. Right, 9, 5. That's not a 5. The 5 in this column seems to be fixed now. In fact, that's an 8. That's a 5. Ooh. Be in the right mode. 8, 5, and 7 at the bottom. Now, these cages in the corners, they're going to help in a moment, but I'm not really getting into them yet because there seems to be more Sudoku to do. I can take 8 out of there. Now, this has got an 8 in this 19 cage, so it's 9, 8, 2. This is a 7 by Sudoku. This doesn't have a 2 in, so that's a 5. Oh, these had to add up to 14, I remember that. So that's a 6. Oh, that's very helpful. Good memory. 3 and 4 to go in here. I can do those. Ah, this is feeling better now. Bit of freedom. That is 6 or 7. These are from 4, 6, 7, and include a 4 for definite. 9, 1, 4, 5, 3. We need a 2 in this box, and that is from 6, 7, or 8. 8, 4, 1, 3, 2, 9, 6, 7 pair, and that is a 5. That places 2 in the bottom row. Now, 3 or 6 in the corner, where 3 loves to hang out. 9, 5, 7. Right, let's think about the 10 cage finally. It could have an 8 in it, weirdly. I just don't know. 5, 2, 9, 4. That's from a 6, 7, 8 pair. So 1 and 3 are in this group of cells. So this cage has got either a 1 or a 3 in it. But the trouble is, that's one pair of possibilities, and the other pair of possibilities is that it adds up to 9 or 11. And I'm frankly a little bit at sea to figure out which is which, so I want to do something different instead. 2, 9, 3, 4, 5. I was going to say all of these cells see that one, but it doesn't actually help. Okay, the 18 cage. It's got to have an 8 in. Oh, look, there is an 8 there by Sudoku in the puzzle. Oh, no, I'm left with an X-wing on 8s. That can't be an 8 now, because the minimum this cage would add up to then is 13, and that's too much. Right. That does a few, that probably finishes off the 8s for the puzzle. Now, this 18 sum. These two have to add up to either 9 or 11. Well, they can't be 11 because that can't be a 5 or 8. So they add up to 9, and they are a 3, 6 pair, and that's going to finish us off. 1, 4, 2. Now this cage, those ones add up to 14 plus 1 makes 15. This was the bogus cage that actually went lower than its very low starting value. Excellent. There was one. I'm delighted, actually. 3, 5, 8, 2, 1. This is 6 or 7. No, it's 7 because there is a 3, 6 pair looking up at it. So that fixes the corner. That's a 6, 4 pair. That's a 7. That's a 6. 7 and 6 there. 7 in the yellow. 6 there. 7 there. Let's just check. Oh no, that total's always been right. That one's okay. That one's good. We're here. We're here. We're not going to get a 3 in that corner. Cage adds up to 9, surprisingly low again, but that's good. Let's finish off these so we can leave the corner until last. And that's 3 in the corner, losing its religion. And that's the some amount of trouble. It has given me some amount of trouble, but that was frankly great fun. I will add that if I took 38 minutes over any puzzle in the competition I'm about to embark on, I may as well be counted out as finishing last amongst my peers in the round. I'm really hoping none of them take 38 minutes, but then I'm hoping that they're all a bit more approachable than that one. Lovely puzzle, Tiganus. I mean, I do like doing difficult puzzles, just not under enormous time pressure. And that's why it's such a pleasure to be with you for these videos. Thank you so much for watching, as always. And I shall wish myself luck for the next few days. You will see videos pre-recorded, and then I'll be back live on, well, Friday at the latest. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon. Bye for now.